So how many more watts will we be going into the 2024 season with?
Towards the end of 2023, Tiffany and I each got our own Zwift Hub 1 smart trainer, and we are both in love with it. One of the big things we had no idea we were missing out on was erg mode.
Anytime we tried to do workouts in erg mode, it was very inconsistent, and I don't think it really gave us any benefit doing those workouts in erg mode on the Wahoo Kicker Snap.
It really has been an eye-opener how effective a good trainer can be on erg.
As we do every year, once we reached the off season, Caitlin and I sat down and we talked a little bit about what we wanted to do in the season coming up for 2024, how we wanted to address some of the shortfalls and weaknesses that we experienced in the 2023 season, and even prior to that, how could we make ourselves better? What could we do to put our best foot forward going into the 2024 season?
One thing that we came up with was that we wanted to up our endurance on the run and our power on the bike. So with that, we put together a 75-day program, mainly consisting of more running and more biking.
One of the ways that we decided to address our bike FTP was actually somewhat of an accidental discovery. Caitlin was looking through Zwift and she found that they had a 10 to 12 week FTP Builder, and it actually aligned with our 75-day plan. So we dove into that about a week into the 75-day plan and started with week 2 of the FTP Builder. And we've been going strong ever since. We are finishing our 10th week and now looking ahead to 2 more weeks of this FTP Builder to see exactly where we're going to be at the end of this.
Prior to starting the plan, we did do an FTP test, a pre-built ramp test in Zwift, just to set our baseline to know where we should start.
We were actually both pleasantly surprised that our power numbers weren't terrible, especially coming off a really long season and then coming off a little bit of downtime. So we were pleased with where we were starting and excited for the potential that was to come if we were to complete this 12-week plan.
In the first few weeks, the workouts really weren't that long. The weekday workouts were less than an hour, and the weekend workout was maybe 80 minutes. Really not that long at all. I remember the first few weeks, there were some workouts that were kind of difficult, but then maybe the next week weren't so difficult. It was a little bit up and down.
From week to week, we could tell, okay, this isn't as bad as it felt last week. So we could tell, or at least perceive, that we were making progress with the plan.
Now we're about almost an hour and a half during the weekday workouts, and the intensity and the length of the hard intervals are extending, and it's gotten a little tough.
We're having to hold power for longer times. We're having to do short, hard bursts and put that all in the mix together. We have to put an entire ride together where our legs are operating under fatigue, where we have to mentally push ourselves to get through the next hard interval, where we have to hold power for a good amount of time and thinking that this is gonna be the race power that we're gonna wanna hold here in a few months.
One big takeaway from the program is that it gives us some structure. We aren't quite into 70.3 build yet, but yet this program has given us something structured to follow day to day without just waking up and being like, well, what are we gonna do today?
We haven't really made too many major changes to the program, but one thing that we are doing differently is there are some weeks that the plan calls for 5 rides during the week, with the 5th ride basically being an easy free ride. Well, since we're also doing the run and swim and strength on the other side of things, we are not getting that 5th ride in, but I know we're hitting the 2 key sessions, and we're also getting in 2 good recovery sessions during the week. So I think we're doing things right. I don't think we're losing anything by not doing that 5th ride during the week.
In the beginning of this bike build, our run mileage was probably about 20 miles a week. And with the early stages of the build on the bike, the intensity and the length wasn't that long. So it was both moving along very smoothly and solid with no issues, very, very little fatigue in the body and the legs.
Now the last couple of weeks, we've had much higher run volume. We're over 30 miles a week. And the bike sessions have gotten more intense as well. So it's been a little bit of feeling out, exactly what we want to achieve.
I will admit there was one workout that I had to take the power down. That was the workout where I rolled out of bed and went directly to the bike. My body just was not ready for that, and I had to pay the price for that.
So I've taken back the run training just a bit, knowing that we're almost at the end of the FTP Builder, and that's the primary focus because we'll have plenty of time to focus on the run and keep building that more. But we're trying to get through this FTP Builder with the gains that we're trying to attain. So right now that's the focus, but no lie, it has been tough the last couple of weeks as the intensity of the bike workouts have ramped up in addition to our run volume.
But it's pretty cool to say that I'm hitting 30-mile weeks in the run and also still getting in some really solid bike work 4 days out of the week.
Just learning that balance and how our bodies respond, that's been important, listening to our bodies and trusting ourselves and really being honest with the feedback with each other so that we can decide, exactly what direction the training needs to go. But so far, I think we're on the right track, and I think there's good things coming for both of us here in the next couple of weeks.
We've got 2 weeks left in the build, and we will certainly sit back down and give our final thoughts on how we feel the FTP Builder in Zwift goes. I personally think that I'm gonna be making some gains once I do that next FTP test, and I'm excited to see it.
So how many more watts will we be going into the 2024 season with? Well, once we complete the plan, we'll come back and give a full recap and deep dive into Zwift's 10 to 12 week FTP Builder and report back on those gains that we hope we've made. And if you have any questions about Zwift's 10 to 12 week FTP Builder and our experience, drop it in the comments and we will make sure to include that in our recap video coming up. So stay tuned, there's more to come.